Welcome to the Tale Slate. Today we're talking Doctor Who, and we have previously talked about the unforgivable things that Steven Moffat has done with Doctor Who. Today we're talking about the brilliant things that Steven Moffat has done with Doctor Who. With me are Katie Mavin, the Caffeinated Geek girl, and Brian Trerice, sci-fi and comic book fan. So, Steven Moffat is a great writer. He's written some of the best episodes of Doctor Who. I want to find out what things you thought he has done that were absolutely brilliant with the show.
I think the easiest thing to do is probably talk about like your favorite episode. There's too many to pick, obviously, but two that really come to mind for me are Blink and The Angels Take Manhattan. I don't know what it is about the Angels. Obviously, I like them. I don't like them, but I don't like them because they take Amy and Rory. But those I just found were phenomenal storylines. As much as you don't actually get to see David Tennant too often in Blink, there's some really funny bits with him which I really like. Just the storyline and how complicated it is, but then it comes together so well at the same time. It was so excellently written.
I agree. Blink is probably the first show of brilliance from Steven Moffat. Although he did write The Empty Child, and that was really, really good as well. But I think Blink, that stood out.
I have to admit, I was watching this with my dad when I was in university, and I think when I met my husband, I kind of fell a little bit off the bandwagon. It's so sad. I'm a terrible geek. And then I remember you were talking about the Blink episode.
Okay.
And that is what really was K-Rad. We're sitting down, we gotta watch these, and I got him back into it because you just went on and on and on about this episode. You loved it.
Yeah, that was my favorite episode by him.
And it's hilarious because it's one of their Doctor Who light episodes where the Doctor's barely in it at all.
Yeah, you see him on a TV screen for like a matter of 5 minutes.
And it still feels like a real Doctor Who episode.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I think that, and you mentioned The Empty Child, which is another favorite of mine. And there's another one which is kind of I like and kind of don't, but is The Girl in the Fireplace.
Yes, that's another great one.
Yeah.
And the thing that connects those three is it's his writing. It creates. I heard someone mention this, and as soon as I read that, it was like, oh yeah, it makes sense. Is that he has a way of taking something that's simple, like just an image or an idea, and so it's like with The Girl in the Fireplace, it's a ticking clock, kind of thing, and with the Empty Child, it's just the kid with the gas mask face. And with Blink, it's it's the whole thing of don't blink, and turning it into something that's absolutely terrifying.
I was going to say, I'm assuming he as well came up with the silence.
Yes,
he did.
Yes,
so I sound again like a terrible geek. I just don't know these things. The innocent check marks.
Yeah.
Yes, that again.
And it's like
same sort of thing.
You see the back. I think you see the back of River. And then also she turns around and you see her covered and like you're all, oh my God, like they're surrounding her. We don't see them. And
I find it interesting that some of his best stuff, he has some really good stuff actually in the more recent seasons that I really like too and are among my favorites. But a lot of his really good stuff is when Russell T Davies was the showrunner.
David Tennant's kind of...
Well, all through David Tennant, up until Matt Smith. And Christopher Eccleston too.
I love Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah. But what I'm getting at is, I wonder if Steven Moffat is a better writer when he has restrictions.
You know what? There are certain writers who are like that. I'm thinking more actors like Jim Carrey, things like that. So if you let him go, he's
a little too wacky.
If he gets a little too wacky. If you can rein him in, you can get a fantastic performance out of him. Same thing with writers. You can have a writer if you just let him go, give him carte blanche. It'll get to a point where it's, okay, you're getting a bit stupid now.
Yeah.
And so you have someone who can rein him in, just keep it tight.
Yeah.
It'll be amazing.
I've found that his storylines have actually gotten more complicated for me.
They might be complicated, but I think sometimes they get a little bit convoluted maybe.
Yeah.
Compared to just being complicated. But he's obviously a brilliant writer. look at Sherlock. Again, he's writing with somebody
I
else.
haven't seen it. Don't
Oh
be mad
my
at me. Don't be mad
God.
at me. You know what? I've been bugging Brad for like a year and a half, 2 years now. Like, we got to sit down. We got to watch it. It's a thing with moms, okay? We just don't get around to these.
The best part of it is if you binge watch it now, it's like having a season. like
It's
having
true.
one
This
season,
is true.
Yeah, exactly.
all
But
the
then I
episodes.
have to join you all and sit here and be like, when is the next season?
Yeah.
I hate when you like I binge watched a lot of Doctor Who
Yeah.
to get Brad caught up, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, we're
There's
caught
no-
up, and I
Yeah.
have to wait all this time. And right now it's killing me.
Yeah.
That it's like every day I'm sitting here, I'm like, I just need a little Doctor Who in my life, and it's like we have to wait so long.
Well, see, now you can start watching.
We're gonna blame Steven Moffat on this one.
Yeah, that's right. Now he's also written. I mean, some of my other favorites from the more recent seasons. We got Listen, which
What
I
was
thought
that one again?
that was the one where they.
I'm
go
really
back
bad
and-
with names.
Clara at the end is particularly. It's the story about fear and you know the little Danny Pink. They go find Danny, and then at
Oh,
the
and
end
they're grabbing underneath
when
the
Clara
bed.
meets the doctor as a
As a
child.
little
Yes,
boy,
yeah.
yeah.
And that was really cool. That was a
Oh,
really
which,
well done.
talking
episode.
about how you were saying how they tie things in. Peter Capaldi, when after in Hellbent, when he comes out of the,
Yes,
he
you
goes
see him
back
in
to
that
the same
room.
place. He goes back to
Yeah.
the same barn.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah, the barn.
And
that's
I'm
right.
sitting there, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And Brad's like, what? And I'm like, that's the place. Like, don't you recognize that?
Yeah. So I mean, he's done. I'm trying to think of some of the others that he's done. There's a bunch of the recent ones I like. A lot of the stuff he's done with Peter Capaldi, I really like.
You know, I didn't even know if I was going to like Peter. And I know a lot of that comes back to, oh, you're a youngin', you know what? You like those. And I love Matt Smith. I really do. I think Matt Smith was my doctor. But I think that is a lot of because I'm really tied to Amy and Rory as well. But Peter, he does such a good job. I absolutely love watching him and his little angry eyebrows and just everything about him. I'm floored about how much I actually love him as a doctor.
So this is something then I think that Steven Moffat has done that's brilliant. Knowing that they were going with Peter Capaldi, an older actor, and knowing that some people would have trouble accepting it.
And I
Putting that in his first episode. At the end, Matt Smith's call
Oh my gosh.
to Clara,
Phenomenal.
it was both him
It was-
helping the character
it's meta.
accept him.
It's meta.
And for
Yeah,
us,
and helping the
it's
audience
like, this
accept
is,
him.
you know what? Yeah, this is a new outside doctor appearance, but
Mm-hmm.
it's the same doctor, and you can see that he still has this jump in his step, like Matt Smith had. He's still got a little bit of that playfulness, but then there also is the serious side, which we really, you know what, you kind of need that when you look at him. Like, he is an older man. He needs to have that serious personality as well,
Well,
too.
I feel he's channeling the earlier Doctors, like the first four, where you have a bit of the wackiness of Tom Baker, and you have the sternness of Hartnell. But it was that idea where he's the grandfather character again, but still with a bit of the wackiness of the newer characters. The more playfulness of them.
Yeah.
So
I liked it was last season. It just seemed to be that, him and Clara were starting to have fun. They got to go out and do
Yeah,
the fun
yeah.
adventures. And I mean, this season that just passed, it's gotten a little bit more serious in my opinion. Not a huge fan of this season.
No.
I
wow.
I know we're gonna argue about this. I don't know. It's just
It's got
this
some
whole, the whole
good episodes that were Steven Moffat episodes.
Yes,
like,
but we've talked about how, with a two-parter, one of them, maybe the first one's fantastic and the second one not so much. So for me, having an entire season that's two-parters, it's just a little too much. I like to be able to sit down and watch an episode here and there. Go to all the time, Van Gogh episode. If I want to watch
yes.
a Doctor Who episode, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to watch that. I always watch Angels Take Manhattan. I don't need any that come with it. I don't want a two-parter.
so
I don't have 3 hours.
obviously the Vincent Van Gogh one is not a Steven Moffat
No,
episode.
I know it's not. I
That's,
hate that it's not. This is so good.
What do you think of the fact that he's created some of the great characters? We talked about the Weeping Angels. He created those.
The silence.
Well, River Song.
yep.
I want to be River Song, okay? I've been saying to my husband for a while now, I'm going to get a sonic screwdriver tattoo, and I am getting her screwdriver. I am determined.
yeah.
I absolutely love her. She is so witty, and just the way she interacts with the Doctor is just fantastic.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think she's a great character that he created, and you're going to disagree. I do think she overstayed
No.
her welcome a little bit.
I could have her in every single episode. I'd be happy. I love her.
There is the from the Silence in the Library or the Forest of the Dead. The title of the music track that goes along with her character is "The Greatest Story Never Told."
Oh, nice.
God, you're so particular.
And but in a way, it would have been cool. We would have missed out on some really good episodes with her, but it would have been cool to have that, "The Greatest Story Never Told." It's just in your
But
imagination.
then we'd be hanging. It would be like Sherlock, for God's sakes. It would just be.
Well,
I think that if we cut her out of some of those episodes, we very much would be. Oh, we just need a little bit more of her. I really feel like if you would be saying that if she wasn't in all the
well,
episodes.
yeah. No,
think
I
they
did
should-
like her. I did like her.
I think they should
She's
be
a great
doing.
character.
I think they should give her her own show. So I mean, like
do.
when you don't have Doctor Who, you got River Song.
That's true.
See her
I
adventures.
would watch
Yeah.
that for sure.
Yeah.
Because then you can bring in a whole bunch of new characters.
Yeah. Other thoughts on things that Steven Moffat specifically has done that have been absolutely brilliant, that make him great?
Well, I liked. Remember, how I mentioned that they were letting Clara see the bad side of what happens with the Doctor, being the Doctor. I think when the Killing the Moon episode, where she and everyone on Earth have to make that big choice: do we kill the creature in the moon or no? I think that is something that Moffat's really done a great job of, is letting other characters kind of take the part of Doctor Who and showing, like delving into his character and seeing what makes him tick, and realizing that, even way back to the very beginning, you had this guy who just seemed to run around getting involved in adventures, and it was all, young boy adventure kind of stories. But then you realize, no, like there's so many terrible choices.
Yeah,
this
and
guy
that's what it
has
is.
He has to make, yeah.
It's explaining as to, why he's gotten to be the way he is. All these terrible decisions he has had to make, for the greater good, but what it's doing to him.
Yeah, and I think that especially in the last, 3 seasons, I think they really highlighted that, where it's a lot of
I feel like that has come off of the 50th.
yeah.
Because they brought the War Doctor in, and the War Doctor knows exactly what he's done, but then 9, 10, and 11 have no idea what he's done, even though that is his future.
Yeah.
And so I think that starting from the 50th, then we really start to dive into what these decisions have done to him. I mean, we can obviously see it wearing on some of the characters.
Yeah, the man who forgets, the man who regrets.
Yes.
I like that little touch where they threw that in, and it's like, oh yeah, it sums up the whole character right there. But that's another thing he's done, is that he gives little titles to the characters.
Yes.
So it's like, the Last Centurion and the Girl Who Waits.
Yeah.
Like, they always have.
Was that one of his, The Girl Who Waited? Because that's one of my favorite episodes as well.
thought it was.
It may not have been, because it wasn't on the list. But
Okay.
anyway, I really enjoyed what he's done with the character of. I mean, I liked what he did with Amy and Rory. I've liked what he's done with Clara. A lot of people didn't like Clara to
You know
start
what,
with, but I liked where he took that character.
I like Clara, but there's a lot to her that I don't understand. He just, I don't know, he got a little bit wonky in the middle there. But as I have seen Clara grow, and especially once Peter Capaldi come on, her as a person I saw grow too. Her acting just got really good, I found. For me, I can sort of understand her being placed throughout his timeline to help him, no, I want you to take this TARDIS, like don't take that one kind of thing. I get that. But specifically the episode, The Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, I still, to this day, do not understand running through the TARDIS and coming across these burned versions of her. I just don't get it.
Yeah. Did he write? He didn't write that one.
I hope
Personally, I
not.
don't think so.
I think he did.
We won't blame him for that then.
I think what's a sign of Steven Moffat being brilliant with Doctor Who is how he changed Clara with the new Doctor, with Peter Capaldi's Doctor, because I think he created her as a character that just served a purpose for the Doctor.
She was a
right?
mystery.
He was,
she was the
exactly.
mystery child.
But
now
once
she's a person.
once we got with Peter Capaldi, he had, and also once she decided to stay on longer than she was going
Yeah,
to,
Yes.
that was the
he
thing.
had to change it, and that's again, it's putting restrictions on a writer, making them go, okay, oh
That's
crap,
true.
I've got to do something now with this.
He's run
Yeah,
the
how
end of
do
the timeline, and
And-
now I have to come up with something new.
and he made it work.
He did.
And I loved the way they ended her character. I mean, not the very end. I think we should have seen her go off back to her death, but I know why
I
they
agree.
left that
Yeah.
off as a
You know
thing
what,
of hope for the people that didn't
no,
want to
no,
see
no.
her
I
die.
think we should have just really pissed people off and made her die. Because this, for me personally, the thought that there could be this random spin-off between her and me, I do not like the idea of that. Especially them flying away in a TARDIS looks like a diner, for God's
Diner,
sakes.
yeah.
Like, that's just so beyond cheesy.
Yeah.
I get it that the TARDIS has got like the broken,
Chameleon
They
suit.
seem to
yeah,
break quite easily.
but still, a friggin' diner.
Yeah. But overall, the arc with that character that he created was
Yeah,
really
And
well,
she became a lot stronger. What I liked
gosh,
in the
yeah.
end, the decision, I mean, they could have made it so that Clara didn't remember the doctor in that episode. But to turn it around that the doctor didn't remember Clara, and she
Yeah.
had to be the strong one and be there for him, but not in the same way she had before.
Yeah. I am actually glad that they didn't make him forget what happened.
No.
That just it takes away too much from the doctor to do that. But the fact that he remembers that there was a girl called Clara. He remembers all the things they did, just doesn't
He
remember
just
her.
doesn't remember her, yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
did
kinda
not.
cool.
I did not mention this in the things I didn't like. I don't know if this is Moffat's fault, but Peter Capaldi put down the guitar.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I get it. You were
think-
in a band.
yeah.
You were super cool way back then. But we don't need you like rocking out on a tank with your guitar. Like, I don't know. It just seems
Yeah.
so
That should
out
have
of.
been in my my
Well, that would.
unforgivable
Yes,
things.
That-
it just seems
yeah.
so out
That
of
was one of those things. Oh,
character.
it should be. Wouldn't it be cool? No.
No,
Well,
it
that-
was not cool. But
Yeah.
you know what? I bet I Peter probably had his hand in that.
Oh, the guitar.
And I mean,
sure.
again, I
Yeah.
love you, Peter.
Yes. Yeah, the
Well,
guitar.
because like again, I think it was I think we mentioned this before, where it's just like he wants to do a cool scene, and
Yeah.
I think the whole thing was he was going to make that axe joke.
Yeah.
Remember, it's like, oh, we're going to have an axe fight. It's like, well, I did bring an axe, you know. It's like,
Yeah. It's like,
pushing, yeah.
yeah, and that's the scene.
The one part that I don't know how you guys feel about that. I don't know, again, if it's a Moffat thing. But there was the episode that started with Peter doing a monologue. I know I hate
Which one?
monologues.
The one to the camera about
Yes.
Beethoven? I loved that.
That was amazing. I
Yeah.
really liked that.
Yeah, no, that was really good.
No, well, and again, that was something that he had to do to lead into the explanation of
the
the
episode,
story.
yeah. no, that worked
Well,
fine.
and that's it. Like, you didn't have to waste all your time. You know, you were saying about you didn't like in the episode with Amy and Clara and how they just didn't look like, oh
No,
my
they-
gosh,
yeah,
where
yeah,
are
yeah.
we? You know, they could just do a little something to kind of,
Yep.
and this is what they've done. This nice little monologue, like short and sweet. This is what's going on, and it was good.
Yeah.
That's right. Anything else that you guys have? The brilliant things that Steven Moffat has done?
Well, this is kind of a general thing, but I like the fact that he takes risks with the show.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
To
yeah.
a certain extent.
To a certain extent, like I don't agree
Sometimes
with
they
him.
don't pay off.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't agree
He's
with all of
pushing
them.
the limits, the
Sure,
boundaries.
like
and-
I again, like I feel like there needs to be an in-universe framework of logic of how science works in it, and when he just goes, well, anything can happen, it's like no, but you know, the fact that he's willing to take risks with the show, because the one thing that you can't do is let a show get stale.
No.
I mean, playing it safe and just always having the same thing over and over and over and over again. No, you're going to eventually lose fans, and you won't draw anyone new in. So you have to take some risks. You have to do some different things, and yes, some will be hits, some will be misses. But if you don't do it, the show never grows. You never get new fans, and you don't get 50 years
Yeah. yeah.
or another 50 years.
or another
hopefully.
50. Yeah.
What I'm really liking is, I'm going to say it's an intellectual show. You have to think. You can't just sit there and mindlessly watch like you would so many other shows. The show is just one big puzzle, and that's what I find really keeps, me and probably a lot of other people so intrigued. Because you really have to sit there and figure out how this goes with this, and
Well, like I love shows that make me think, and like you have to watch 2 or 3 times to get everything.
or 50 and you
Or
still don't
50.
get it.
But yeah, like I mean, that's the one thing that attracted me to Doctor Who when I was a little kid, is that I loved the fact that it was a sci-fi, but it wasn't one where it's like they explain it all to you. You know, like you do have to watch and you do have to figure things out. Now, in the end, yeah, sure, maybe they'll like give you the rundown so that anyone who hasn't figured
Again,
it out.
I still need
will
a
get it.
book. If they would just come out with a book.
Oh,
there probably is.
I've got one from way back when. It was Doctor Who and the Daleks.
Ooh.
And it gives, this is up to, I can't remember which Doctor number now, 5 or 6.
Oh, okay.
But it gives up like the entire history of the Daleks in order.
Oh, yeah.
I need a
appearance.
Cole's Notes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Cole's Notes, get on it.
Oh,
I mean, I think it's interesting talking Doctor Who and Steven Moffat. It's clear he's done a lot of brilliant things. He's done a lot of things that we
Sure.
didn't like. And even though this particular episode we were talking about the brilliant things, couldn't help but sneaking in some of the things that we didn't like, just like we snuck in some of the things that we did
Sonic
like.
glasses.
Oh, yes, right.
oh,
In the last episode. But yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, every writer, there's going to have some good stuff and bad stuff. And for the most
And
part,
I'm going to say
his good stuff
yes.
has outweighed the,
For sure it
the bad
does.
stuff.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome. That's great. Well, hope you enjoyed this episode, and you know, please subscribe to the channel and watch more.